This week, we're looking at the ultimate Autobot combiner, formed from the fusion of two of the greatest Cybertronian heroes that have ever lived. These are the basics on Omega Prime. Omega Prime is the combined form of the Autobots Optimus Prime and Ultra Magnus from the 2001 series Robots in Disguise. But Robots in Disguise was an adaptation of the Japanese line Car Robots, so that's where our story begins. Released in the year 2000, the Autobot leader of Car Robots was a bot named Fire Convoy, who transformed into a fire engine modelled after the real-life Hino Morita Super Gyro Ladder MH. The front portion of the vehicle disconnected and transformed into Fire Convoy himself, while the rear portion split into pieces that could either be reassembled into a battle station or combined with Fire Convoy as armour to power him up into Super Fire Convoy. A brave warrior whose burning spirit drove him to fight for peace across the galaxy, Fire Convoy was the leader of the Dimensional Patrol, a unit of Autobots from the far future. He was one of several Japanese original characters who bore the name Convoy, a title shared by commanders in his future time, who all resembled Optimus Prime, and who each carried a power source known as an Energon Matrix. As seen in the Car Robots cartoon, he and his team pursued a gang of rogue Predacons, led by his old rival Gigatron, back in time to present-day Earth. To defend the planet, the Autobots went undercover, hiding in plain sight among humans by posing as real vehicles. Fire Convoy served as a fire engine in the Tokyo Fire Department. Later in the year, Car Robots introduced Fire Convoy's brother, God Magnus. Just as Fire Convoy was an homage to Optimus Prime, God Magnus homaged the classic Generation 1 Autobot Ultra Magnus, and like him, transformed into a car carrier. Armed with a reconfigurable cannon called the Blue Bolts that unlocked the figure's lights and sounds, God Magnus could combine with Fire Convoy to create the super robot God Fire Convoy. Magnus was a bitter, hot-tempered bot who resented the fact Fire Convoy had been chosen to be a commander instead of him. Following him to Earth, Magnus forcibly fused with his brother into God Fire Convoy, intending to take over his body and mind, and thereby take his Energon Matrix, the symbol of leadership, for himself. But Fire Convoy was able to retain control of the brothers' combined form, thwarting Magnus's ambitions. Now, while he hated his brother, Magnus's ire didn't extend to the other Autobots. When they were captured by the Predacons, he came to their rescue, a heroic deed that led to the revelation that his body actually contained an Energon Matrix of its own, when it finally activated due to his selfless action. With this discovery, the brothers were gradually able to put their differences to rest, and began forming God Fire Convoy regularly to foil the Predacons' plans. A power boost from the giant Autobot Brave Maximus allowed the pair's combined matrices to manifest the huge Super God Sword, which God Fire Convoy used to defeat Gigatron in a final battle at the Earth's core. In Japan, that's basically where the brothers' story ends. There have been a few recolors of their toys available, including gift sets with the Super God Sword, but Fire Convoy and God Magnus haven't appeared in much subsequent media, outside of a brief showing in the Transformers Legends manga in the late 2010s, in which Gigatron abandoned his evil ways and joined them on the Dimensional Patrol, even learning to combine with them as Devil God Fire Convoy. Outside of Japan, though, is another story. In 2001, the Car Robots toy line and cartoon were imported by Hasbro and released in their markets under the new title Robots in Disguise. But where Car Robots had been part of the long-running Japanese continuity of interconnected Transformers cartoons, Robots in Disguise was reworked to be a brand new universe, for which Fire Convoy and God Magnus were renamed and reimagined as new versions of the two classic characters they were inspired by, Optimus Prime and Ultra Magnus. Prime's English voice actor Neil Kaplan even based his performance on original Optimus actor Peter Cullen.
Hold it right there. Get away from him, Megatron. Blaze Blaster!
The English version of the series modified their story slightly. Here, Ultra Magnus didn't have a matrix of his own, but rather discovered that the brothers' creator, the Autobot elder Alpha Trion, had given him the ability to channel and share the power of Optimus's matrix. Godfire Convoy, meanwhile, was renamed Omega Prime, and where car robots had depicted him as basically just a powered-up form for Fire Convoy, Robots in Disguise made him a distinct entity with his own unique mind and voice, formed from the brothers' merging. The alterations Robots in Disguise made had their own unique impact on Transformers history. By changing Fire Convoy's identity, the series became the first to feature Optimus Prime turning into a fire engine, an idea that would be revisited in 2005's Transformers Cybertron and 2007's Transformers Animated, while its depiction of Ultra Magnus as Optimus's brother inspired Dreamwave Productions comic books to reinvent the original Generation 1 characters as also being siblings. Furthermore, tie-in media would expand the world of the English cartoon, continuing its story in conjunction with new Hasbro toys. In 2003, Optimus and Magnus were recolored and re-released as part of Hasbro's Transformers Universe toy line. Magnus was just made slightly darker, but Optimus got a distinctive bright yellow paint job. These toys earned the pair an appearance in the Universe comic book published through official convention BotCon, in which they were among the many characters pulled from all across the multiverse to take part in a war between the armies of the Transformers god, Primus, and his evil brother, Unicron. Then, in 2005, the figures were released again in the Cybertron toy line, with Optimus back in red. This inspired the inclusion of the brothers in the Cybertron comic released by the Transformers Collectors Club, in which, immediately after the events of Universe, they were transported to the world of the Cybertron cartoon, where they helped defend the Transformers' homeworld against another attack from Unicron and his heralds. Optimus's multiversal travels continued in future Club original stories, which saw him join with other Primes from various different dimensions to form a peacekeeping team called the Convoy. In addition to importing the Japanese figures, Hasbro also created brand new small-scale toys of the brothers, which were also recolored for the Universe line, with Optimus again becoming yellow. These recolors featured in a live script reading held at BotCon 2004, which depicted them as different incarnations of the brothers from another dimension, who were briefly pulled into the Universe conflict. For this reading, Optimus was performed by female fan Michelle Irby, a bit of gender-blind casting that later led the club to retroactively declare that this version of Optimus was a female character. This idea would, in turn, filter back over to Japan, when, in 2020, the Generation Selects manga introduced its own take on the concept of a female Prime based on the Universe toy, Yellow Splendid Convoy. This character was a member of the Primus Vanguard, a cross-dimensional organization that defended the multiverse against evil in the ancient past. The Vanguard was divided into 7 color-coded orders. Yellow Splendid was the leader of the all-female Yellow Order, but was killed by the Decepticon combiner God Neptune in battle over her yellow matrix. Hasbro released only one further brand new toy of Robots in Disguise Optimus Prime, in their Titanium series in 2006, which converted straight from Firetruck to Super Mode. But now, after a wait of nearly 2 decades, new figures of both brothers are on the way in 2025. Announced in 2024 as part of the franchise's 40th anniversary celebration, and crowd-funded through Hasbro's online HasLab platform, the new figures are faithful updates of the originals, complete with Energon Matrix accessories for both of them, and the Super God Sword, or the Matrix Blade as it's known in English. Plus, for this release, Magnus's Blue Bolts cannon was redesigned to become an actual Transformer. Omega Prime has been the most successful Transformers HasLab campaign yet, with the highest number of backers, proving that while they might have been out of the spotlight for a long time, love for robots in disguise and its supreme Autobot warrior is still burning as hot as a 5-alarm fire. And those are the basics on Optimus Prime, Ultra Magnus, and Omega Prime. Let me know in the comments if you backed the HasLab. If you liked this video, be sure to subscribe and check out over 200 more about Transformers history and lore. Plus, get early access to new videos ad-free on Patreon.